Today we are going to talk about wholesome kamma. Last week we talked about the unwholesome kamma, where it will take result. And today we're going to talk about wholesome kamma. So let's start by paying respect by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Homage to the sublime, the victorious, and totally self-enlightened. Okay, so last time we talked about how a full course unwholesome kamma can give result at patisandhi time during rebirth, and how a not full course unwholesome kamma will give result in during the lifetime. The places that it will give result, as we have seen last time, if it has to be result during patisandhi, meaning giving a new life, then it will be in one of the 4 lower realms, the 4 lower planes. And if it would be during lifetime, it can be in the 4 lower planes, in the human plane, in the deva plane, and even in the 5 material plane, except for the asanyasatas, right? Because asanyasatas does not have consciousness. Therefore, the unwholesome kamma also will not be able to give result during this lifetime. So they will pause for some time, no? And for other 5 material beings, since they do not have the taste, smell, and touch sensitivity and consciousness as well, so those kind of akusala vipaka consciousness can also cannot arise in them also. There is one more detail that I like to tell you about. Do you remember the 12 kinds of akusala chittas? We have 8 in the lobha group, lobha rooted, and then we have 2 in the dosa group, and then we have another 2 in the moha group, right? So do you remember that restlessness, uddhacca, is a universal cetasika, right? So it associates with all kinds of, all of them, all 12 akusala chittas when they arise. But only in this one, it is with itself, no? Of course, with moha, it's not associated with other ones. So in terms of chitta, it is quite weak, because it is just restlessness without other stronger defilements. So in this case, only the detail is only this chitta is not possible to give result as patisandhi. All the other ones, all the other 11 are capable of giving result as rebirthed in the lower realm. But only this one, it will only give result in the during lifetime, but not as patisandhi. So this is only just a little detail that I wanted to tell you. So we are talking about the kusala kamma today, which is the total opposite of the akusala kamma that we have been talking last week, which means, in simple words, that are the not doing all the akusalas that we mentioned, the 10 kinds of 10 causes of unwholesome actions last week, no? So on the other hand, besides not doing this and their contrary, there are actually 10 kinds of punya kriya vatu. It's called the 10 bases of meritorious action. So in previous sections, we have already seen this, but we will go through a little bit quickly, plus a little bit more information. So if you remember, the first of the 10 bases of meritorious action is dana, actually, generosity. So any kind of giving, giving of time, giving of service, giving of products, giving of blood, giving of anything, any kind of offering, it's called dana. And here, the cetana, with which one practice this giving is actually called dana here. So cetana, as we said, is kamma, right? So the volition, the cetana that is associated with the kusala chitta, while we are doing the action of offering, those cetanas are called dana, generosity, other kusala kamma. Not only during the time when one is actually doing the action, but since before, say when the person is going to the hospital, on the way, then she is thinking, oh, I'm going to donate blood today, I'm going to do something good. So preceding the action, some good mind state is already, kusala mind is already being generated. Those wholesome chittas are also called dana. They're also performing generosity during the time. So before, during, and after, if the person is very happy about what she has done, so afterwards, then she felt like, oh, it's so good. I did something really good today. Maybe I saved some lives or something. So at that moment, also again, kusala chitta arised in her mind. And those chetanas that are associated there are also dana. So it is important that in order to make the generosity or this good action or any kind of, not just generosity, any kind of wholesome actions, if we are happy before doing, while doing, and after doing, that will make the action or the karma much more powerful. Later on in today's section, we will see how it works in terms of giving result. Now, when we give, there are many different kinds of, many different ways how a person can offer something. One can offer with or without respect, for example. So to ensure that our giving is of the best quality, then there are a few points that I will mention right now. With this, it defines the quality of the giving. First one, with respect or without respect. Sometimes we can give something to someone very respectfully, we offer, or sometimes we just give something like just very carelessly or lightly, or maybe just throw it, or just just give something lightly. So with respect or without. And give you another example. Say in Asia, sometimes in the restaurant when you are eating, then some dogs will come around to ask for some food. Oh, so sometimes some people give them some food because they like dogs. So they give them like a kind of respectfully, they give them and put them into their mouth or something. But maybe someone, because they don't like dogs and they want them to go away, then they throw some food far away, and so the dogs will go away. So those are also giving in a way, but this is with or without respect, or the attitude of how we give, or the volition of how we give. We really give because we want to share, or we give because we want them to go away. Yeah. So that's that makes the quality of the giving different. Now, there is also giving with the knowledge of cause and effect, and without such knowledge. So when we give with the knowledge of cause and effect, it will be a three-rooted wholesome kamma. So it is together with wisdom as well, with the occasional cetasika, wisdom root. So when we give without such knowledge, it will be only two-rooted. Only alobha and adosa will be there. So without wisdom. Yeah. Okay. Then, as we just mentioned a little bit earlier, we also have we can also give with joy or without joy in the 3 times. 3 times meaning preceding, while doing the action, and afterwards. So this, whether we give happily or joyfully, also determines the quality of this giving. And the next one will be whether it is prompted or unprompted. And what do you think? If it is prompted or unprompted, which one is of better quality?
Unprompted.
Unprompted, yeah, yes. So I don't have to say too much about that. You already understand. Then the next one is with aspiration for worldly pleasure as a result, or we can give also with the aspiration for wisdom as a result. So whatever you wish for, that will be the result that we will get. Yeah. So if we do good, and then we know that with the knowledge of cause and effect, we know that doing some good, there will be good effect. And then we wish that the next life I will be very rich, I will have a very comfortable life, and this and that. So this with aspiration for worldly pleasure, then that will be those results will happen, because that is what one wish for when we do the dana, no? But also, we can give with a higher aspiration for wisdom and for the liberation from samsara, no? So this is with different kind of aspiration. So it also gives different quality result. Yeah. Okay. Now, yes, Derawa.
Is it the same if you deny worldly pleasure? Like if you think about, okay, what could happen to me in the next life, and then you you're not satisfied with anything else that could happen. Is it the same for aspiring to wisdom, because you just deny worldly pleasures, but you don't directly think about the other aspects?
So you mean that when you do a good thing, you do not wish for any worldly pleasure?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it is more powerful if we aspire for wisdom to arise, because then the direction of the mind is going towards that direction. If there is no direction at all, it doesn't mean that it is going to that direction, right? You just don't wish for the worldly pleasure, but you also didn't wish for wisdom to arise. So it will also not lead that way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. So I know sometimes that some of us may think that, oh, this is kind of strange. How come when I do good, I wish for something? No, so it is kind of like not sincere, or like hoping for what I do. I don't hope for any result. No, sometimes we might think that way, but actually this is because of knowledge and because of understanding. We understand that nature works this way. Therefore, we aspire for more wisdom to arise, for wisdom to grow, and it is through wisdom that we can be free from all other kinds of defilements. No, it is because of that, not because we want a reward. So otherwise, it would be kind of loba. No, it will contaminate the actual wholesome deed. But wishing or with the aspiration for wisdom is not greedy, or is not loba in this case. Yes, Edith?
I mean, you just made me think, like, what's my wish usually, but it's definitely not, giving for wisdom or anything, or worldly pleasures in any other life. And then I realized that my wish usually is go like, I wish other beings to be liberated and not suffer. That's like usually what I do. So is it better to change it to wisdom?
You mean you wish other beings to be liberated and to be free while you do the good action?
Yes.
Well, of course, when we are giving something to others, then we wish them good also. That is also a kind of a wholesome mind state. So besides giving the whatever material thing or the service, but you also have a good wish. So you're generating more wholesome mind. So this is something different. But here, when we do good things, we usually do not think about the result at the moment, right? Even when we are doing good, we are not thinking about cause and effect. So if we say that whether we are doing it with the knowledge of cause and effect, knowing about karma, when we do the good action, we're usually not thinking about that. Yes, because those are different mind moments, no? They were like when we're thinking about that, then most of the time when we're doing some good action, we are focused on that action. We're not thinking about other things at that moment. So this, with knowledge or without knowledge, is a general understanding of cause and effect. If we have a general understanding, we know that when good deeds are being done, then good effects is going to happen, because that's how the way nature works. That's a general background understanding. So in the same way, sometimes when we share merits, or when we do the aspiration, say after class, we always dedicate our effort for the attainment of Nibbana. No? So in those cases, we are having aspiration for wisdom in general. It is in that way. So when you are giving actually something to someone and you are thinking that may they be well, may they be happy, may they be liberated, that's very beautiful. And I don't think you have to change that. Or maybe if you want to change, then just include yourself. May all beings be happy and peaceful. So you are included in the all being also. So that could also be. Yeah, but what it means here generally is not that it is a background, more like a background understanding or a background aspiration of whatever we do. May we grow in wisdom. may it be a supportive conditions for us to grow in wisdom and eventually to be free from samsara. Yeah, so not exactly during that moment. Okay, is a little bit more clear. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's continue a little bit to see what other factors can influence the quality of the result and of the giving. Yeah, so it also depends of the morality of the donor and the recipient. So the donor, in this case, let's say ourselves, if we have good sila and then we give, then this is with better quality. And then if the person who received the gift or the service is also with good sila, then also this quality is much better. So say you offer someone that is going to help more people, and then it's going to he's a very good person and is going to do benefit for many. So the benefits multiplied, you know. So if we give something to someone, let's say that has a less sila, so the benefits it multiplies a little bit less in that case. So it depends on the quality of the donor and the recipient as well. All right. Okay. Now, also, it depends on the offering, whether it is done with one's own hand or it is made by sending other person. Sometimes we offer something, we do it ourselves. Then for example, we offer lunch in the monastery. Then since early morning, we wake up and then we cook and then we prepare. And then all this time, all these hours that we are preparing, wholesome mind is generated in the mind all the time. No, like, so throughout these hours, we accumulate a lot of good karma also, actually. Then when we bring it ourselves to go offer and all the process and all the time, then it has much better quality. Then we get something from the shop and we just send it, send someone and send it. Although it is still good and it is still an offering, but in comparison, the quality will be better if it is done by one's own hand, one do it oneself, no? Okay, now there is another point is that whether it is a constant offering or it is an occasional offering. So if we offer all the time, constantly, then it is more powerful, of course, than we offer it from time to time, just occasionally. Now, the next one is whether we are offering, the offering is of prime and excellent things, or sometimes we donate something that is inferior or leftover things, no? So it also, depending on that, the quality changes. Now, the next one and the last point here is the donation. There are different kinds of donations. There are donations of properties like food, things that people can use, even buildings, monasteries, so donation of property. Then we also have offering of freedom from fear. And what is that? That's actually metta, no? When we offer a sense of safety, of metta to other beings, then they understand that with us, they will not be hurt. With us, they will not be harmed. So in that case, we're offering freedom, a sense of freedom from fear. So they don't have to be afraid when they are with us. So that is also a kind of offering. So the first precept, panatipata, on the other hand, besides not harming and not killing any being, it can also be an offering of freedom from fear. Say animals, if they are around us and they know that we are not going to hurt them, so they are not afraid. So that's also dana. And the next one is the offering of truth. So Dhamma dana. It can be a Dhamma talk, or sometimes it can be helping to print Dhamma books or some kind of services in terms of the offering the teachings and let's say service for editing or whatever it can be, the offering of Dhamma to other beings. So there are different kinds of offering. Then of course, the Dhamma dana is the highest, and then comes all the other kinds of dana. All right, so the first 10 bases of meritorious act, the first one is dana. Let's go to the next one, sila. Now with sila, we all know that we have the 5 precepts and not killing or harming. And on the other hand, it can be also the offering of freedom from fear, no? And then and we have the not taking what is not being given, and on the opposite, besides not just not taking what is not being given, but we give, we offer. So that's generosity also. And on the other hand, the not having sexual misconduct plus respecting one's and others' relation, no? Okay, then the fourth one, musawada, we refrain from saying lies and harsh speech and not unwholesome words, not using unwholesome words, but also we offer kind words and kindness to others. And the last one, not taking any kind of intoxicants. Besides not taking intoxicants, we dedicate our energy to meditation, to practice, and to the study and to contemplation. So that's also the positive side of sila also, yeah. So all the time, when let's say when we wake up in the morning and then we practice and meditate a little bit, and then we think today I'm going to keep all this sila, and during that time we are thinking about that. We are thinking that today I will not harm any beings, I will not take what is being given, etc., etc. Not what is not being given, and etc. During that time, a lot of wholesome mind state, wholesome chitta is arising. No? So all those jhavanas that are the chetana that are associated with this kusala jhavana are called sila in this case. So of course, during the time we actually have an occasion of doing something unwholesome, but then we refrain from doing that. Of course, that's also sila. But while we are also making a determination, or when we are actually going to the monastery and we are taking the precepts during any day or during the Uposatha day, the full moon day, then that's also sila. No, sometimes we take the 8 training precepts instead of the 5 during the full moon day and the new moon day. So that's the 5 plus eating in the adequate time, that's before noon, and not sleeping or sitting on high or luxurious bed, and dedicating our energy to practice instead of going to entertainment. And also this one of respecting the relationship becomes celibacy for that day. Yeah, so that's the 8 precepts, that's sila. And also sometimes we have one more, so the 9 training. Although it is a training, it is not actually a precept. That is with metta, so keeping one's mind with metta throughout the day, with metta for all beings throughout the day. So that's the 9th training. So sometimes we take the 9th training during the Uposatha. So when we are taking either 5 precepts, 8 precepts, or 9 precepts, we are generating this wholesome mind with sila. Now, what if a person does not take the precepts? He or she does not think about it, but when there is an occasion where he or she can tell a lie or say something bad, and instead of doing so, just naturally, he or she just refrain from doing that. Is that considered sila, even if he didn't or she didn't take the precepts? And the answer is yes, because that is together with the cetasika that is called right speech, no, samma vaca. So the virati cetasika. So this is a wholesome cetasika that is associated with a wholesome mind. When there's an occasion, when one refrain from doing so, then this right speech will arise at that time. So that is also considered sila, morality, no? So in the same way, for when there is an occasion that we can take something that is not being given and we refrain from doing so, or when there is occasion for sexual misconduct and then we refrain from doing so, so that's right action. And that's also included in sila, so wholesome action included. And then the third one is bhavana, cultivation. Now, when we talk about bhavana, cultivation, then there are 2 kinds of cultivation, the cultivation of samadhi and the cultivation of panya. So mental stability, concentration, and wisdom. Yeah? So how? By means of samatha meditation and vipassana meditation. So these 2 are also when we meditate, this is also generating wholesome karma and wholesome mind state. Now, the fourth one is called apachayana, paying respect to elders. So all these are wholesome mind states that are wholesome karma. And then we do this also, and we're happily doing this before, during, and after, then the quality of all these wholesome deeds are much stronger. Now, also paying respect not only to elders, but also to people with good morality and wisdom. That is also called apachayana. And this is Sayadawji Nandamala Biwamsa, and he is now 80-some years old, and he is a great teacher with very good wisdom. So many of the monks and many of lay people respect him very much. And then I think this photo is very beautiful because this is Sayadawji himself. So when he sees his elders, he paid great respect, although he is such a respectful teacher. But when he sees his elders, he becomes like a small little samanera, like becoming like a small little child, and he pay respect in that way. That's very beautiful, very humble, no? So that's paying respect. Okay. Now, the next one is called Vayawacha, service in wholesome deeds. So that means taking care of people who are sick, elders, and doing some community services, any service that are for the welfare of the others, helping in the monastery, and helping some yogis during retreats, and all these are wholesome services that is also included in the 10 bases of meritorious action. Now, the next one is called patidana. Now, patidana is called sharing merit. It's translated as sharing merit. So when we do something good, after doing a wholesome deed, first we have to do something good first. Otherwise, we don't have anything to share, no? So when we do some good deeds, then we think, may all beings, or may my departed relatives, or may whoever in need share this merit acquired through this wholesome action that I have just done. So this kind of thoughts of sharing merits with others is what is called patidana, and it itself is another wholesome deed. So besides doing a wholesome deed, and if we share merits, it is doing another wholesome deed again. So this is really very good. And now sharing merits, sometimes it is translated as transferring merit, but we have to understand that the sharing merits, actually, the merits does not get transferred. So whatever one do good cannot be transferred to another person. But instead, it is like what we call the magic kick. The more you share, the more it grows, or the candle lights. So by sharing the fire of from your candle, your own light do not get diminished. Yeah. So it's just how this share actually works is like when we do something wholesome, then we say that we share these merits with others. And if the others are happy about what we did, and they say sadhu, 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 and they are happy, so they also generate wholesome mind state in their themselves, no? So it is this wholesome mind state that they are generating themselves that will give them their good result. So that's how sharing merits actually works. Yes, Darawa?
Is it possible to share merits about deeds you did a long time ago? Because I did quite a lot of deeds without sharing any merits, and I think it would be a waste if that's not possible anymore.
Yeah, I think so. That of course, from now on, whatever good deeds you do, then you can share merits, and also you can think, may all the good deeds that I have done previously, may also other beings share the merit. But most of the time, it depends on the to whom you are sharing the merits, or for what purpose. Sometimes some people share merits to some departed relatives. And for that, it is quite specific, because those relatives, if in case in the Theravada tradition, we usually do this because in case our relatives was reborn into the Peta realm and they stay around, in that case, they can hear us, and if we do something good and share merits at that time, then they can know what we are doing, and if they are happy about what we are doing, then they feel glad about it, then they can then they can share. I mean, they generate wholesome mind in them, no? So in that case, it is important that we do it at that time and share with them. Because if I said, I shared all that I have done in good in the past, then they didn't know what we did, and they cannot be happy about what we did, yeah, if they don't know what we did. So in a way, it might be a little bit less powerful, but still we can still share. No, it does no harm. But of course, it's good that we do something good now and then we share. Yeah. Okay. So that's the sharing of merits. And if we continue, then we will talk about this point a little bit more about the departed relatives. This patanumodana, rejoicing in other merits. Now, that means when we see some other people doing good, then we are happy about what they did, and then we rejoice in their merits. And that rejoicing mind is also a wholesome deed. Now, this picture, this is Sayadaw Tejaniya, my meditation teacher, and this is outside the monastery in the village. And every morning, many people, the people from the village, together with elders and also with children, they offer food, they offer rice to the monks that go out for alms round for Pindabata, no? So that's very nice to see all the children doing that every day. So when we see something very nice, people helping others, people donating, then we rejoice in their good deeds. And then we say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That's also a good, a wholesome deed that we are doing when we rejoice in others' merit. Now, when we say, then what about if the other didn't share with us? If they didn't say that I share merits, do we get actually, can we rejoice in others' merit if they don't share with us, say? So in that case, yeah, yes, of course we can, yeah, because when we rejoice in others' merit, then we are happy about it, yeah. But if we are sharing merits with the departed ones, especially, at that time, we have to specifically share the merits. We have to say that we do this good deeds. May you be happy, may you be well, then for those merits to be effective for them to, let's say, be free from their conditions and have a better rebirth. And for those reasons, we have to share. I mean, they cannot just for the peta beings, for the departed beings, they cannot just say that I rejoice in the merits of anyone, no, because that has not been shared, especially for them. So if you see the suttas, there are, I don't remember exactly which one, but there are stories that there are relatives of the king that was waiting for him to share merits. You know, maybe Edith is noting, so maybe you know about this sutta. And so well, after offering to the Buddha, then the Buddha asked him specifically to share merits with his relatives, past relatives. That's important because the relatives have been waiting for him, but he did not share, so they cannot get the merits, right? So for departed beings, then it has to be a little bit more specific. And for us, then we can always rejoice in others' merits without even other people sharing it to us. Okay, so let's continue. And number 8 is Dhamma Shavana. So listening to the Dhamma. And when we listen to the teachers talking about the Dhamma, and when we listen with a pure mind and with sincerity and seriousness, and that time we are also generating very good, wholesome mind, and that is also a good karma, no? Now, on the other hand, number 9, that is Dhamma Desana, so sharing the merits. Now this comes to the side of the teacher, and if he, in this case, Sayadawji, shared with pure intention for the benefit for the listeners, then this is generating a lot of wholesome karma also, no? So the listening of the Dhamma and the sharing of the Dhamma, both are included in the 10 bases of meritorious action. Now, the number 10 is the ditthiju kamma, so straightening one's right view. So that is having the right understanding, right view of cause and effect, understanding of karma and its result. And this right view here as wrong view, in the same way, there are many kinds of right view. There are vipassana right view, and there are right view also of the liberation, not those that when we really eradicate the wrong view and have the right view when we attained Sotapanna Magga, the first stage of enlightenment, and that is the strongest among the right view. So this one, for it to be a wholesome karma, is a simple understanding of karma and its effects. So it's the total opposite of the wrong view, of the very serious wrong view that we saw last week. Yeah. So here we have seen the 10 kinds of 10 bases of meritorious action. Sila, dana, bhavana, apachayana, Veya vacha, patidana, patanumodana, dhamma savana, dhamma desana, ditthiju kamma. So generosity, morality, meditation or cultivation, reference to elders and respect to holy or respectable people, service in the wholesome deeds, sharing of merits, rejoicing in others' merits, listening to the Dhamma, sharing the Dhamma, and strengthening one's right view. Yes, Edith?
Is this in like strength of the wholesomeness, put in order of the strength of the wholesomeness? Like dana is the least, maybe
well,
straightening the right view is the more strongest. No. Okay.
Well, if you think about it, it could be. It looks a little bit like this, but actually this 10 can also be classified into 3 groups. Now we are coming dana, sila, and bhavana. So they are included, for example, the first one, dana, patidana, and patanumodana, they are included in dana group, in generosity. But of course, strictly speaking, rejoicing in others' merit is not giving, right? But why is it included in the dana group? Because giving dana or sharing merits, it gets rid of covetousness or an isa and macharia, so jealousy and stinginess. So the sharing merits as well as the rejoicing in others' merits both get rid of jealousy and stinginess as well. So in this sense, it is included in dana. So both of them are included in the dana group because they counteract with isa and macharia, jealousy and stinginess. So the first, number 1, number 6, number 7, dana, patidana, patanumodana are included in the dana group. And for the sila group, we have, of course, sila. Then we have apaichayana, reference to the elders, and Veya vacha, service and wholesome deeds. Those are included in sila because they are kind of practice, like paying respect to the elders and doing wholesome deeds are also a kind of practice, no? A kind of training. We have to do it, we have to practice that. So those are included also in the virtue or in morality in sila. And the other 4, the remaining 4, bhavana, dhamma savana, dhamma desana, and ditthiju kamma, these 4 are included in bhavana, in cultivation. So sila, dana, sila, and bhavana. But number 10 here, this ditthiju kamma can also be said to be included in all 3, because without right view, without understanding of kamma and its effect, then one cannot perform the generosity properly and sila properly as well. So therefore, ditthiju kamma is included in the bhavana, but it can also be said that it includes in all. So it is also classified in this way. Yeah, okay. So now we are going to continue with more information about how this good wholesome actions, when they give result, what kind of result and how they give result. But before we go into that, let's take 5 minutes break and then we will come back for more information. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Okay, so we have been talking about wholesome kamma that are divided into the three categories: dana, sila, and bhavana. Yeah. So dana is actually like compared to the soil, to the fertile ground. So whenever you see some kind of suttas, if the Buddha was talking to someone that is not familiar with the Dhamma yet, he always start with dana. And because dana is the very base, So in order to counteract with our attachment, dana is a very good practice. It's a very good place to start with, to counteract with our small defilement, with our actually very gross defilements, no, like the attachment of even things or my time, my effort, and everything. So if we are able to give, if we are able to offer, then we are generous, then the ground is fertile now for a little bit more practice, right? So the next one, the next level of practice is sila. And sila is compared to the roots of the plant. So if sila is strong, if the roots are strong, then the tree can grow healthily, no? So sila is also very important, is the foundation of the practice. And because without sila, the meditation will not be good. Sometimes imagine if a person, he or she keeps lying and he is stealing, or he is doing all kinds of unwholesome deeds. When he or she sits in meditation, do you think his or her mind can be calm? That's not possible, yeah? So therefore, the sila is a great support for mental stability and mental calmness. So therefore, sila is also very important. So with a good sila, but of course, it does not mean that if our sila is not perfect, we cannot start meditation. Because in that case, then we might never be able to start, because there is always something, that we might not be perfect yet. So my teacher said that we don't have to wait for everything to be perfect. So when we have a good basis of sila, then when we practice, then this practice also reinforced our sila at the end, because with more practice, then we understand, with more wisdom, we understand how important sila is. Then we also have more motivation to have better sila. And so this is like a good cycle, one help the other. And then we also, with more wisdom, we understand the importance of dana. Then when we do dana, we do sila, we do bhavana. Bhavana becomes stronger, then we do better dana and better sila. So it goes on and goes on. Then bhavana is divided into two groups, samadhi as well as panya. No? Okay, so why is this three, dana, sila, and bhavana, or sila, samadhi, and panya, why are they important in terms of the practice? Because we have always listened and heard that the Buddha's teaching is about developing sila, samadhi, and panya. And how does this actually work? Why is it put in this way? That's because sila, samadhi, and panya directly counteract with the different levels of defilements. So this, we have talked about it a little bit in the previous sections, but because this is important, we will take a look again here. So how does it work? Now, defilements are divided into three levels of kilesas, mental defilements. The first one, and the grosser level, it's called kamma. So those actions that we actually do, that is being acted out, the actual killing, the actual saying harsh word, and all this is called kamma. And then there is another level of defilements that is a little bit less gross, and that is called pariyutthana. those defilements that arise in the mind only. So we think about something, but we don't actually act out. We don't actually do unwholesome action, but we thought about it. So defilements arise in the mind. So that is called pariyutthana. And then there is another level still, the more subtle kind of defilement is called anussaya, the latent defilement. Now, this latent defilement is actually not happening in the mind or is not arising yet, but it is the potentiality of defilements to arise. So therefore here, if you see the graphic, I put a match here. So this is with the matches, there is possibility of fire, but fire is not there yet. So that means when we are actually, even when we are performing wholesome deeds, when we are just doing any good thing in our daily life, but as long as we do not eradicate all kinds of defilements, then there is still this potentiality for latent defilement to arise. When there are conditions, then they can arise at any time. Those are called anussaya, latent tendency. So that's the subtlest level of defilement. Yes, Mila?
I wanted to ask about pariyutthana.
Pariyutthana.
If it's a thought with no intention, is that considered pariyutthana?
Any defilements that arise in the mind is pariyutthana. In this
so a defilement, for example, like doing something bad to someone else, for example. And if it's a thought, but there is no intention, it's just a thought that has arisen in the mind, is that considered a defilement, or is that considered just a thought?
In specific terms, when we are talking about the Abhidhamma, we are talking about microscopically. So we have to understand it in that level. Any kind of thoughts are made up of many chittas, no? So all chittas include cetana. So intention is always there, even if we don't realize. So there cannot be any thoughts without intention. We realize it or not, because we are talking about microscopically. Each chitta, each wholesome mind or unwholesome mind, cetana is always there. So whether the intention is very strong or it is so subtle that we don't realize that there is an intention, but there is an intention.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So those defilements, if there is, like, let's say, when we think about something that, oh, this is so nice, or this is so good, actually some kind of attachment is already there. Although it's just like a thought, oh, I just thought that was nice, nothing. But then attachment or little bit of lobha is already there. It arose there already. So even like this, like very subtle, simple thoughts, it could be not a very strong and wholesome mind, but lobha and wholesome mind already arose. So in the level of pariyutthana, because we didn't actually do anything to it, like we didn't act out, but it arose in the mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so we have these three levels of kilesas, of defilements, and how it counteract with how sila, samadhi, and panya counteract with these three levels. Now, in terms of sila, the very foundation, sila protects us from unwholesome actions. If we keep the sila, then we actually protect ourselves from acting out unwholesome actions. So therefore, sila directly counteract with vitikkamma, the level of defilements that are being acted out. And then later, samadhi, which is the next level, stability of mind, through meditation and contemplation and cultivation also, not necessarily in sitting meditation. We can also cultivate by keeping the mind mindful all the time. Then if we are mindful every moment, then stability of mind is also strong. And in this level of samadhi, it counteracts directly to the arising of defilements in the mind. Because when the mind is stable, at those moments, the mind is having wholesome mind. No? So no defilement is arising at that moment. So therefore, it is samadhi directly counteract with pariyutthana. But for anuseya, for the latent tendency, only panya, only wisdom can totally uproot or eradicate the potentiality or latent tendency of any kind of defilement. So only panya is the only one that is possible to counteract with latent defilements here. Okay, so this is true. This is true vipassana meditation. Now, with vipassana meditation, when the meditation is strong and wisdom grow to a certain level, then then one will arrive to the first level of enlightenment in the Sotapattī Magga. At that moment, some kinds of latent defilements, such as ditthi, wrong view, are totally eradicated in that moment. So this is talking about all the way the practice until liberation. So in short, sila, samadhi, and panya are is the whole practice that the Buddha taught from the very beginning, from the practice of dana and sila until total eradication of all environment, of all defilement, hence enlightenment, total enlightenment, arahashina. Yes, Claudia.
Yeah, sorry if I have my screen dark, but I have an headache. I need to lie down.
Yeah, no problem.
I want to ask, you said before that you need to have to be mindful throughout the day, right? For be enlightened at the end, no? And so this only let me think that you don't have to practice meditation the whole day. You can be mindful through other action. Is that correct? Even though when you do things right?
If you are being mindful, you are practicing.
Yes, but sorry, this was my question. What is, in your opinion, to be mindful throughout the day, for constantly, moment by moment?
To be mindful throughout the day means that one knows that what is happening in terms of nama and rupa, what is happening in the mind, what is happening in the body, and together with the understanding that this is, with the right view, that this is a natural process working and we are just observing. It's not me, it's not I. With that attitude, we observe what's happening to us in terms of mind and body throughout the day. That's being mindful.
So you're saying that this one can be in a rational process, correct?
Rational process, meaning that whatever we are observing, we are not thinking. Yeah, that's a little bit different. We have to, it's a little bit subtle, but we have to, it is true practice that you can make the difference. If I'm thinking all day long, I'm thinking, oh, this is this is that, this is this is that, the mind will be so busy, you know. We are actually thinking. Yeah. So observing does not mean thinking. It means that we know the knowing. There is a knowing behind in the mind. That is, there is a knowing that is watching what is happening and understanding. Okay. So we may be doing whatever we do in our daily life, but there is the knowing, the observing mind is seeing what is happening and is trying to understand with the attitude that this is a natural process going on and we are observing and learning.
Okay, so you mean that there is something underlying the action that I perform. So this one is the knowledge that you're talking about. That even though when I do the knowledge or do an action, a simple action, I know that I do that action because of to perform samadhi or sila and panya. That's correct?
Now,
I understand clearly?
Now, when my teacher always says, he said that we cannot say how much the mind can know at the moment. It depends on how strong the mind is. Say when we are, let's say washing the dishes. Okay,
Yeah.
take a simple action. When we're washing the dishes, we may know sometimes the mind can be thinking about what I have to do after. In the afternoon, I have to have a meeting, I have to meet this person, or I'm thinking yesterday he told me this, she told me that. So actually, if we are doing that, the mind is doing that, it is totally not meditating, no? It's just thinking.
Yes.
Right? So if the mind is washing the dishes, but some part of the mind knows the action, the temperature of the water, and some part of the mind knows that say some thoughts arose in the mind. Oh, I remember yesterday he told me this and that, but the mind knows that it remembered that and it didn't get into the story and it kept observing and this and that. So if the mind is not totally overwhelmed by the thoughts or the actions, and it always have a knowing there, then it is being mindful. But also it is important to have the attitude of this is just a natural process and we are observing. The mind is not trying to think about what I'm doing, like oh now the water is warm, now the water is cold, now this feels like that, this feels like that. So we are not constantly putting into words what's happening in the mind, but we are just watching it.
I understand it very clearly. Thank you.
Like that. Okay. You're welcome. Yes, Edith?
In regards to what Mila was asking about the thoughts, I was just trying to understand, because in practice, for example, the thoughts can come up on their own. Of course, there is a context, for example, like you see a memory or something, and then there is one moment you have a thought about it. It seems like just cause and effect, and I don't see how intention is there, like you are saying. I mean, intention is maybe just subtle. I don't know.
Yes, intention is very, very subtle. Now, this point may be a little bit difficult to accept, but remember when we look at the Abhidhamma, when we look at the chittas, resultant consciousness are of how many kinds? Resultant. We have only ear consciousness, eye consciousness, nose consciousness, taste, touch, smell, and receiving and investigating are those vipaka chittas, right? So there is no any vipaka citta for thoughts. So that means thoughts is not a result, but an action. So although we say that the mind think about it by itself, it just pop up, I didn't think about it. But in reality, the mind did think about it.
But
so it is not a result, a resultant. So if we think good thoughts, if we think bad thoughts, that's actually our own action. Sometimes we think that it just popped up, I didn't do it. So it seems like a result, right? It seems like the bad thoughts keep coming to my mind. This is my past karma. This is my akusala vipaka. No. There is no such kind of vipaka citta. We are actually thinking about it. But think about it. If they are not resultant, that means we have power, we have control, because we're actually doing it. That means we can stop bad thoughts. If it does happen, no? So do you know what I mean? I mean that when the mind is thinking, when we any action that we do, there is of course intention is there, but because it is so subtle that we do not even see it, we do not even realize it, but it is there. It is either kusala mind or akusala mind, no? So kusala mind and akusala mind always associate with cetana.
Yes, I totally understand what you're saying. It seems different when one wants to think about something, and then just the habitual, like the program that is running constantly, like it's habitual and natural, and those are the conditions that besides anything else.
Yes,
that
habit is strong. Habit is very strong. So if we set conditions, now if someone see two different person, if two persons see the same thing, if it is a condition, then they should think the same. If it is because of this object that make this person that condition the thought, then these two persons should think exactly the same. But no, it depends on the person, depends on the quality of the mind of the person, right? So therefore, it's totally. I mean, it's action itself. It's not a resultant. Yeah, make sense?
I mean, I have to really see it for myself and investigate to first,
Yeah.
In order for me to accept it fully.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, it's a good exercise, but of course, like the mind have so many thoughts all day long. It's very hard to keep track of everything. But now the theory say this way. Then in practice, then you investigate. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Amar.
So since Chetna is there all the time, right? Intention. So can we say that every mind moment, either we are doing kusala or akusala, right?
Yes, of course.
From that means we are doing either kusala kamma or akusala kamma, or
yes, and until we become an arahant, it's either kusala
right.
or akusala all the time.
Yeah, but the Chetna is also there in the kriya kamma. I mean kriya also, right?
Yes, but their function is different in those ones.
Okay.
Now, the chetana that associate with wholesome chittas and unwholesome chittas, kusala chitta and akusala chitta, their function is to generate kamma, as well as it coordinates all the other chetasikas to do the work. Yeah. So for those chetana that associate with resultant consciousness, since we are not acting anything, they do not accumulate any karma. Their function, that function of that chetana is only to coordinate the other chetasikas to do the work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. That's the difference. Thank you for your question, Ahmad. Okay. So, so up to here, we have talked about Sila, Samadhi, and Panya and how it counteracts with the different levels of defilements. So let's continue a little bit with the kamma vachara kusala kamma, sense sphere wholesome kamma. Now, with any kind of sense sphere, kamma vachara kusala kamma, they can be associated with three kinds of roots: alobha, adosa, and amoha. Yeah. And now amoha, wisdom, can be of very different levels. It can be the understanding of karma and its result. Then we have higher vipassana wisdom and even magga wisdom. Yeah, the wisdom for liberation also. But here, when we talk about kamma vachara kusala chitta, usually when we are doing any kind of wholesome deeds, usually we are only focusing on the understanding of karma and its result. So if you still remember, in the kusala chitta and the alobha and adosa, they are universal chetasikas for kusala chittas. So any kind of wholesome mind always associate with alobha and adosa. That is a must. But wisdom is occasional. So in this case, we have two types of kusala chitta that is possible. Kusala with only 2 roots and kusala with 3 roots. Now, besides that, kusala with 2 roots, meaning that when we do something wholesome, we are just doing it without the understanding of cause and effect. So this wholesome deed is only associated with 2 roots, and it can also be of a lower quality or of a superior quality. And in the same way, with the 3 rooted wholesome chittas, wholesome karma, it can also be of a lower quality and a superior quality. Now let's see what is the difference. Lower or inferior kusala is called omaka kusala, and the superior is called ukata kusala. Now, what makes a kusala karma inferior or superior? Say, if we do kusala action, when it is done with a pure intention, good intention, and preceding and followed by kusala thoughts, then it makes it a superior quality. But sometimes we may do good actions, although the good action is being done, but it can be with a defiled mind or impure intention. So it can be preceded by akusala. No, while we are doing the good action is being done, but maybe the person is thinks that, oh, I'm so good. I hope many people will see me doing this good and being proud and all these things. So if it is preceded by an akusala mind, then it becomes the action becomes a lower quality, a wholesome action. Okay, so it depends on whether it is performed with a good, pure mind, good intention, preceded and followed by kusala thoughts, or whether it is preceded or followed by akusala thoughts. Yeah. Now, also there is another point that makes it inferior or superior. That's the joy, whether we do the action happily before, during, and after. Now, for example, tomorrow we are going to help clean the monastery, let's say. So that's a very wholesome deed. And then tonight, I'm thinking I will sleep a little bit early tonight because it's going to be very good. Tomorrow we're going to clean the monastery and we're very happy about it. Okay, so before we are happy. Then during the action, we are also happy. And after that, when we come home, then say, oh, we did such good deed today and we are very happy about it. So in this case, all the 3 times, before, during, and after, all 3 times, it is with joyful mind. So this makes it of a superior quality. But sometimes it can also be any one of the time we feel regret about it. Say the person, he or she was happy the night before, then he or she went to clean the monastery, and when she come home, then his mom said, oh, your girlfriend came looking for you, wanting to go to the cinema, but you weren't here. And said, I shouldn't have gone to the monastery. And so he or she regretted at that moment. So that kusala did become lower quality, regretted. Or it can be before doing the deed, and so, oh, I'm so tired tomorrow, I don't really want to go, but I already said I will. I need to go. Then in that case, then before was not happy, not joyful. Then it is also in that case, then not the 3 times is not completed. So in that case, it will also become a lower quality wholesome deed. So okay, let's go a little bit further. Okay, so now why is this important, whether it is performed with 2 roots or 3 roots and the lower quality and superior quality? It is important because the resultant that it gives becomes different. Let's talk about the kusala with 3 roots first. Now, say a kusala, wholesome action, is being performed with wisdom, with all the 3 roots. Now, if it gives us, and it is performed in a superior way, so all the time happy about it and with a wholesome and pure mind, then when it gives a result at patisandhi time, then it will give a 3-rooted result. So that means the rebirth consciousness that it gives will be with 3 roots, together with 3 roots. Now, if this 3-root wholesome deed is done with a lower quality, then when it gives result in the rebirth, it can only give result as the 2-rooted result. So wisdom root will not be included in the result. So therefore, it is important. Although it is done with wisdom, but because it is of lower quality, when it gives result, it will only be 2 roots. Now, how about if the kusala was done since the very beginning with only 2 roots? When it gives result, if it is done in a superior way, it will give a result identical with 2 roots. And if it is done with a lower quality, then when it gives result in patisandhi time, it will only give a rootless result. although it has been done with the kusala 2 roots. Okay, so in a table format, we can see it in this way. 3-rooted superior give identical result, 3-rooted patisandhi. 3-rooted lower quality or 2-rooted superior quality give 2-rooted result, and 2-rooted lower quality give rootless result. And then where can this happen? Then any kind of wholesome kamavachara kusala kamma, they always give rebirth with result either in the human plane or in the 6th deva realm. So last week, Delawa was talking about some person who may be born with some kind of disability. So those people, they might be born with rootless resultant consciousness. But since they are reborn into the human realm, so it is still a good realm. So it is still a result of some kind of wholesome karma that was done previously. Okay. Now let's take a look at the resultant during lifetime. With the kusala that is done with the 3 roots and in a superior way, then the result that is being given in the lifetime would be the 8 ahetuka kusala vipaka will be there. So eye, ear, nose, tongue, touch and receiving and investigating consciousness during lifetime, as well as the 8 mahavipaka chittas, those resultant with roots as tadaramana, no? It can arise at that time. Okay, now if it is with the lower quality, then it will give the same ahetuka result, kusala result, as well as only 4 mahavipaka chittas, that are those that are not associated with wisdom as tadaramana function, no? During tadaramana. Aftertaste function. So that this is how the 3-root kusala chitta will give result during lifetime. Then let's take a look of those that are 2-rooted. Those karma that are 2-rooted will give result in the same way. If it is 2-rooted superior, it will give 8 ahetuka kusala vipaka and 4 mahavipaka chittas, those that are not associated with wisdom. And if it is done with a lower quality, then giving result in during lifetime, it can only give rootless result. And where can this happen? This can happen during lifetime in the 4 lower realms, in human plane, and in the Deva realm. That is this 8 ahetuka kusala vipaka and 8 mahavipaka. And for the 5 material realm, it is also possible, but there will be without nose, tongue, and touch consciousness. So only 5 ahetuka kusala vipaka will be there. And also those mahavipaka with roots will also not arise in the 5 material realm because tadaramana only arise in the sense realm, no? So in the 5 material realm, those will not arise. Okay. Well, this is a little bit more technical. This is in terms of chitta, where how many roots, where does it happen? So therefore, it is important that we are familiar with the first few chapters, the understanding of what kind of chittas are there, the chaitasikas that are associated with them, their function, and all this. So understanding those, then we can understand this chapter a little bit better. But of course, if we don't remember very well, that's okay. So just as information that you have heard about it, then later on, if you are interested and if you have time, then you can always go back to the information and look again. My teachers always say Abhidhamma is a long-term study. It is not only one time. So once we go through, and then next time when we go through again, then we get a little bit more details. Just like when we watch a movie, first time we missed a lot of seeing a lot of details, and the second time we say, oh, I didn't see that in the first time, and the third time, and the fourth time, like that. So Abhidhamma is also in that way. All right. So the important thing here that we would like to bring home is that with every action, every karma, a seed is being planted. Karma is being planted, and result is going to happen. All these jhavanas, whether it is kusala and akusala, they generate karma. So every single action, whether we plant these kusala seeds carefully or carelessly, just throw it wherever, or we plant it carefully or with great care, that is our own choice. So may we all choose wisely for the well-being of ourselves and for the well-being of everyone, no, of all beings. Okay, so just a quote from Sayadaw Usilananda to close today's session. He says, it is important when we practice kusala, we should see that it is accompanied by 3 roots and that it is superior. Only superior karma gives superior results. So Sayadaw Usilananda said so. So why is that important? Because if karma, if a kusala karma is performed with wisdom, but if it is with a lower quality, then when it gives result, it can only give 2 roots result as patisandhi, no? So that means even that was done with wisdom, but carelessly, then if we were reborn with that patisandhi, that is only 2 roots, with 2 roots being, it is not possible for that being to attain any jhana or enlightenment during that lifetime. So we can continue accumulating more kusala, of course, but enlightenment is impossible for the being for that life. So therefore, it is important when we do kusala, then we do it carefully and make sure that it is with 3 roots and superior. So when it gives result, and it can give the 3-rooted result when it becomes a rebirth consciousnness. Yeah. All right. So today, that's all. Yes, Austin?
So when we are being truly mindful, at that point, there is no karma being generated, right?
When we are being mindful, kusala karma is being generated. Because sati, mindfulness, is only associated with kusala chitta, no? So during that time, when the mind is being mindful, a lot of kusala chitta is arising. Now you may say, what if I am mindful that I'm angry? Yeah. So in that case, that they are like a different mind process, because the mind is very fast, it's very quick. So some kind of wholesome mind is being mindful, and some kind of akusala mind is getting angry. So some kusala mind is watching the akusala mind, and then some kusala mind, some akusala mind state. So not in the same process, but in different mind door processes, they are happening very rapidly. But whenever one is mindful, those are wholesome minds are arising in the mind, because sati only associate with kusala chitta, no? So wholesome mind and wholesome karma is being generated. For only an arahant will not generate any more karma. So unless we are totally enlightened, we always generate some kind of karma, kusala or akusala, just like Ahmad was saying right now. All the time. Is that clear? Okay. All right. So for the content, that's all for today. If you have any kind of questions, then we can discuss a little bit.
Yeah, my question was actually somewhat related to what Austin was asking. I'm just curious if two-rooted being can really truly practice sati like properly, basically generating 3-rooted wholesome karma.
I think it is definitely possible for them to practice in order to generate a wholesome karma with 3 roots. Otherwise, they will always stay 2-rooted. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Austin?
Sorry, just a follow-up of my previous question. I think I might be a little confused on what is karma, because if my understanding is that karma is produced on reaction, and just, I mean, if one is truly mindful, then one is, let's say, not producing any reaction to whatever is happening. And so technically they should not be karma, or maybe my understanding is not right.
Now, when we are mindful, we are also, it's mindful is also an action, no? Like we are being mindful, no? So mindful, if we look at the cheetahs, because in the stream of consciousness, always consciousness arise and pass away, arise and pass away. There must be some kind of consciousness there all the time, yeah? So while we are being mindful, the mind door process is happening, yeah? So mind door process, during those jhavana moments, those are wholesome chitas. Those are kusala chitas, because sati is a cetasika that associate only with kusala, and also, of course, with kiriya chitas. When an arahant is being mindful, then it's also associated. But of course, for an arahant, he does not generate kamma anymore. But for a person that is not totally enlightened yet, those kusala chitta, any kind of kusala chitta, always generate kamma. So being mindful is a wholesome action, actually. So as you see in the 10 bases of meritorious action, the bhavana, cultivation, practice of samadhi and panya, bhavana is also a wholesome action, no? So it is actually an action. Although we are not reacting, that does not mean that we are not acting. So some kind of action is being done there also.
Would the
Right.
action be sati, like you produce sati?
Sorry?
The action which you produce while being mindful doing vipassana, is it sati? You are doing sati, basically.
Actually, it is an wholesome mind associated with sati. But actually, sati, this is interesting. Sati is a universal cetasika, no? So whenever we do a wholesome deed, there is always sati. But this sati is only strong when we cultivate it, when we are intentionally practiced to be mindful for the purpose of meditation. In that case, they are stronger and stronger. So when we practice mindfulness, not only one cetasika is arising. In the wholesome chitta, there are a lot of wholesome cetasikas arising together at the same time. No, there are all 19 kinds of universal wholesome cetasikas arise together. Aloha, adosa, wisdom, whether it is associated or not, we don't know. Occasionally, well, hopefully when we are practicing, that it is with wisdom as well. Then also there are the tranquility of the mind, the stability of the mind, and the lightness, and all this, all those beautiful cetasikas, they all arise together at the same time. So of course, when we are practicing, being mindful, then sati is a stronger component in that chitta. Or when we're practicing samadhi, then the concentration, then ekagata is stronger. One-pointedness is stronger, then sati also strong, and then hopefully wisdom also strong. So everything, we cultivate everything together at the same time. So it's not one by one. But when wholesome chitta arrives, all those qualities are there. Yeah. Okay, Edith.
So I don't remember correctly, but did we talk about tirasanya? And if we did not talk about tirasanya, is that sati with wisdom? So most of the time we hear it like you in regards to sati, that you have to have like a clear understanding on the object, like the clearest remembrance or clearest grasp on the object.
Okay. I will have to get back to you about this. So your question is, can you say your question again?
So the question is, what would be then tirasanya? Is it sati developed fully, or is with wisdom, or what?
Okay.
In ultimate reality.
Okay. I will have to get back to you for this one, because I need to check it again just to make sure I don't give you wrong answer. So if you have no more questions, then we will stop here, and let's share merits and also dedicate our effort for the attainment of wisdom for Magga and Phala. to arise for attainment of Nibbana. Itam no punyam Nibbanasa pacheyo hotu. Itam no punyam Nibbanasa pacheyo hotu. Itam no punyam Nibbanasa pacheyo hotu. Itam no punyam savasatanam bhajima. Itam no punyam savasatanam bhajima. Itam no punyam savasatanam bhajima. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, thank you everyone. I'll see you again next week.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Good weekend.
Thank you.